Hey, Raiders fans. Today we're diving deep into the latest updates surrounding the Las Vegas Raiders, and I promise you this one is packed with analysis you won't want to miss. We're taking a closer look at the candidates for head coach, evaluating their strengths, weaknesses, and fit for the silver and black. This is all about building a foundation for the team's future, because let's face it, you can have all the draft picks, cap space, and flashy moves in the world, but without the right leader steering the ship, it doesn't mean much. First up, we're going to start with Nate Shieldhouse, the pass-game coordinator from the Los Angeles Rams. He spent the past 2 seasons under Sean McVay and has had a solid track record developing quarterbacks. He played QB himself at Illinois from 2010 to 2013, so he understands the position from first-hand experience. But here's the reality. Bringing Shieldhouse in as head coach is a bit of a stretch. He's more tailored for an offensive coordinator role rather than the full head coach responsibility. If the Raiders were to hire him at the top spot, I have to give him a C grade. It's not a failure, but it's an average move that doesn't quite inspire confidence for a full rebuild. Moving on, let's talk about Mike LaFleur. He's another coach coming from the McVay tree, currently serving as offensive coordinator with the Rams. Despite not calling plays at the moment, LaFleur has previous experience coordinating the Jets' offense and has worked extensively in both college and professional football since 2009. At only 38 years old, he's shown adaptability and innovation, which is why I rank him highly. If the Raiders were to hire LaFleur as head coach, I'd give him an A-. The potential is there, and he brings a philosophy shaped by successful NFL systems. The fact that he's been part of the McVay and Shanahan lineage only adds to his credibility. Now, let's examine Kevin Stefanski, the former head coach of the Cleveland Browns. The last couple of seasons haven't been kind to him, and overall his record isn't particularly impressive. More concerning for the Raiders is his quarterback development history. With the situation at Las Vegas, where multiple QBs have come and gone without a clear path, that aspect is critical. Stefanski is a 2-time Coach of the Year, but given the current roster and situation, I'd classify his potential fit as average at best. Hiring him as head coach would earn a C grade, recognizing some competence, but lacking the innovation or adaptability the Raiders truly need. Clint Kubiak, the Seahawks offensive coordinator, is a completely different story. He's got experience across multiple teams, including the Vikings and Saints, and come from a lineage of football excellence as the son of Gary Kubiak. At 38, he has extensive ties to innovative offensive systems and a vision that could align perfectly with the pieces the Raiders already have, including young talent like Fernando Mendoza and tight ends Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers. Kubiak's approach could maximize the offense in ways that few others can, earning him an A+ grade in my book. For an offensive-minded rebuild, he's the kind of coach who can make an immediate and lasting impact. When thinking about a defensive-minded option, Jesse Minter stands out. Working with both Jim and John Harbaugh since 2017, Minter has built a reputation as a sharp, strategic mind. He served as Michigan's defensive coordinator during their national championship years in 22 and 23, and he has a clear philosophy that aligns well with both Brady and Spytek's Michigan connections. If the Raiders are looking to establish a strong defensive identity while rebuilding, Minter earns an A+ grade as well. The key, of course, will be surrounding him with the right offensive coordinator to complement his system. Another notable name is Matt Nagy. He's often mentioned due to his experience in the AFC West as an offensive coordinator for 2 Chiefs Super Bowl wins. However, his tenure as Chicago's head coach was a mixed bag, ending poorly with a stagnant and predictable offense. For Las Vegas, hiring Nagy as head coach would be a misstep, earning an F grade in my evaluation. It's not that he doesn't bring knowledge to the table, but the timing and fit for the Raiders' current rebuilding phase simply don't align with his style or past results. Davis Webb is another rising offensive mind, currently serving as the Broncos' quarterback coach and pass game coordinator. Webb played quarterback in the NFL and has been gaining respect as an innovative coach in NFL circles. His work in developing young quarterbacks like Bo Nix demonstrates his potential. If the Raiders were to bring him on as an offensive coordinator, it would be an excellent move, potentially pairing him with someone like Kubiak or Minter to create a dynamic, forward-thinking coaching staff. For a head coaching role, he still earns a C+, reflecting his talent but limited experience in leading an entire team. On the defensive side, there's Ajar Zero-Aravo, a former Raiders player and young defensive coordinator with experience in Carolina and Denver. While innovative and promising, his resume doesn't yet match some of the more experienced candidates. I'd give him a C grade for head coaching potential, though the interview itself is smart for evaluation purposes and for satisfying league requirements like the Rooney Rule. Another defensive candidate, Chris Shula, is a rising star with the Rams, grandson of Don Shula, and a highly regarded strategist. At 39, he's proven to be adaptable and intelligent, earning an A grade. Bringing Shula in could lay the foundation for a strong, long-term defensive identity in Las Vegas. Jeff Hafley, Green Bay's defensive coordinator and former Boston College head coach, brings strong connections and an eye for defensive detail. If paired with the right offensive coordinator, he could be a solid head coaching option, earning a B grade for his potential fit. Vance Joseph, on the other hand, has experience but a mixed record as Denver's head coach. While his defensive credentials are solid, hiring him in Las Vegas would be a questionable choice, reflecting the importance of not just experience, but the right fit for the current roster and rebuilding goals. Finally, Jesse Minter and Clint Kubiak clearly rise to the top. Minter for his defensive mind, Kubiak for his offensive ingenuity. Both offer the kind of vision and leadership that could reshape the Raiders into a competitive, cohesive team. Surrounding them with the right staff and coordinating systems will be critical, but their potential impact cannot be understated. For fans watching and analyzing every hire, these are the names that stand out as transformational options for the silver and black. Continuing our deep dive into the Raiders' head coaching search, let's focus on some of the remaining candidates and what they could bring to Las Vegas. One of the most critical aspects when evaluating these coaches is understanding how their philosophy aligns with the current roster and the team's long-term rebuild. The Raiders aren't just looking for a coach with a name. They need someone who could develop talent, instill a winning culture, and build a sustainable system from the ground up. That's why names like Clint Kubiak and Jesse Minter consistently rise to the top. Jesse Minter, in particular, has been getting a lot of attention for a reason. His experience at Michigan, combined with years working under the Harbaugh brothers, has shaped him into a coach who understands how to mold a team around a strong defensive identity. He's innovative, detail-oriented, and has a clear philosophy for building depth and consistency across the roster. For the Raiders, who are currently in a state of flux with young talent and a need for structural rebuilding, Minter's approach fits perfectly. Pairing him with a complementary offensive mind is the key to unlocking his full potential, and if done correctly, it could set the Raiders up for sustained success over the next decade. Clint Kubiak's appeal is just as compelling, but from the offensive side. He has experience in multiple systems and has shown the ability to adapt his schemes to the strengths of his personnel. The Raiders currently have a blend of young offensive talent that requires a coach who can maximize potential while implementing an innovative scheme. Kubiak's track record suggests he can do exactly that. He's familiar with building an offense that emphasizes versatility and explosiveness, which is exactly what the Raiders need to complement a strong defensive identity. An A-plus grade is warranted here, and it's easy to see why fans and analysts alike are excited about his potential impact. Looking at other offensive candidates, Davis Webb stands out as an emerging coach who brings a fresh perspective. His background as a quarterback in the NFL gives him insight into player development, and his work with young signal callers demonstrates his ability to cultivate talent. While he may not yet have the experience to lead a team as head coach, his innovative approach to game planning makes him a strong candidate for a coordinator role, particularly alongside someone like Kubiak. The Raiders could leverage Webb's offensive acumen without relying solely on him for leadership, giving them the flexibility to build a cohesive coaching staff around him. Kevin Stefanski and Nate Shieldhouse, while competent in their own rights, present a different story. Stefanski's past success with the Browns shows he can manage a team, but the current state of the Raiders makes his approach less appealing. Shieldhouse has the technical knowledge and QB experience, but his lack of head coaching exposure limits his immediate impact at the top position. Both of these candidates would likely thrive in supporting roles, but neither seems to offer the transformative potential the Raiders are searching for. Defensively, the options are equally intriguing. Chris Shula has consistently demonstrated that he's one of the brightest young minds in the league. His lineage alone, grandson of Don Shula, is impressive, but it's his adaptability and understanding of modern defensive concepts that make him stand out. Shula's ability to develop players and construct schemes that counter evolving offenses would provide a solid backbone for the Raiders as they rebuild. The team could become a force defensively if they pair Shula's vision with a forward-thinking offensive counterpart, giving them balance and versatility across all phases of the game. Jeff Hafley also deserves attention, particularly for his connections and ability to innovate defensively. While his head coaching experience is limited, he has the potential to thrive in the right environment. The key factor for Hafley, as with all defensive-minded candidates, is who is leading the offense. The synergy between staff members will determine the overall success, making the Raiders' choice of coordinator just as important as the head coach hire itself. Vance Joseph, while experienced, represents a more conservative approach. He has shown competence, but in Las Vegas, where the opportunity exists to implement bold, modern strategies, his hire might feel less transformative. It's also worth noting the strategic interviews the Raiders have conducted for league compliance and insight. Bringing in coaches like Matt Nagy or less experienced defensive coordinators serves multiple purposes: gathering intelligence, satisfying league requirements like the Rooney Rule, and allowing the team to evaluate emerging talent. Even if these candidates aren't the final choice, the interviews provide the Raiders with a broader understanding of the coaching landscape and the different philosophies available. It's a smart approach that reflects careful planning and a commitment to making the best long-term decision. For the Raiders, the priority isn't just finding the best coach on paper. It's about finding the coach who fits this exact moment in the franchise's history. The organization needs someone who can manage a rebuild, develop young talent, and build a cohesive system from scratch. Kuback and Minter clearly offer these qualities in their respective domains, but pairing them with the right staff members will ultimately determine the outcome. It's a puzzle that the Raiders are carefully piecing together, and every interview is part of the larger picture. The rebuild will require patience, vision, and commitment. It's about identifying coaches who can establish a culture of accountability and excellence while working within the unique context of Las Vegas. Beyond the X's and O's, the right coach must inspire confidence in the players, the fans, and the organization. They need someone who can create a clear path forward, balancing innovation with discipline and fostering a competitive environment that encourages growth at every level of the roster. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling through the league about what many are now calling the Geno gamble, a decision that could define or haunt this season for one of the NFL's most scrutinized franchises. Sources suggest that the much-discussed meeting between Coach Pete Carroll and quarterback Geno Smith, intended to spark a spark of offensive brilliance, may have inadvertently opened the door to a series of nightmares on the field. The talk in locker rooms and sports bars isn't subtle. Since that pivotal conversation, Geno has been under siege, and the stats are hard to ignore. 17 interceptions. 17. Analysts are scrambling to explain how a quarterback once praised for his poise and field vision seems to have become the league's most interception-prone signal caller overnight. Insiders hint that the meeting with Carroll was meant as a motivational reset, a chance to align strategy, clarify reads, and instill confidence. Instead, some say it created pressure that Geno wasn't ready to handle, a weight that shows in split-second decisions and misfires that have left fans screaming at their screens. There's talk that certain calls from the coaching staff may have unintentionally complicated his reads, leaving him frozen in the pocket or forcing throws into coverage. Rival teams have certainly noticed, reportedly studying tape to exploit every hesitation every forced attempt. Yet, despite the mounting criticism, there's a faction of believers who argue that the Carroll Smith saga is far from over. They point out that players often experience slumps after intense meetings or new systems are introduced, and the combination of expectation and scrutiny can temporarily skew performance metrics. Still, gossip in the league suggests tension in the locker room, and questions about the quarterback's confidence continue to dominate the rumor mill. Could Geno rebound? Or is this the fallout from a misjudged coaching intervention? Every analyst seems to have an opinion, but the reality is murky, leaving fans on edge and media outlets salivating over every incomplete pass. Whatever the truth, the Geno gamble is being framed as one of the season's defining storylines. Not for victories, but for the drama, the controversy, and the very real question of whether one meeting can alter the trajectory of an entire campaign. Coaches, players, and fans alike are watching closely, waiting to see if Geno can find his footing or if this interception-laden nightmare will define him. For now, the speculation alone is keeping the league buzzing. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.